have a question for you, sis. What are your thoughts? Specifically, we're talking about finances, but now let's think about for the future. What are your thoughts on saving for your child's future education and expenses?
Like my mom always says, the greatest investment you can make is in a human being. So I think it's very important to think about your child's future education and expenses. It's a way to invest in their future. So especially if you can, I would say just do your own research, because maybe prior to this, I thought you had to have hundreds of dollars every month to put into an account like an UPMA or 529. But you don't have to. You can probably work with any budget you have. Definitely do your research. We don't have to be saving a specific large amount. So it can be something that you can take out from your paycheck every month. So I think if you're doing that every month until they become an adult, that money will definitely add up, and you can definitely consider working it into using it as a way to start them out on the right foot financially. So that could be, again, there are different types. So it can be education focused for those who want to go to college or learn a skill or go to trade school. So, again, do your research to see what are the best options. And also you can see if your employer has any such programs for childcare. Maybe they can tax you less or help support your childcare expenses. So definitely it's worth exploring, because you love your child so much. How much more exciting it will be for you to say, okay, while you were young, we were saving for you, and when you're an adult, you can have this bulk expense, for example, that you can use for your college. So personally, we are in my family, my husband and I are investing in our kids' future, because again, we think that is an amazing way to give them start them on the right foot before they become an adult.
That's fantastic. I just made me remember my aunt and uncle in Ireland. That's what they did. They saved for college for their 2 children, and one has graduated and she's now in dental school, and she didn't have to worry about it. So that was a gift that they purposefully made a decision about, that they would ensure that both of their children would have no financial debt.
I have a question for you, sis. So what financial lessons have you learned from studying the Bible?
Yes, that's a great question. One of the key verses I always think about is from, I believe it's Luke 16 verse 10, that says, "He who is faithful in what is least or in little is also faithful in much or in a lot." And also it says, "And he who is unjust in what is least is also unjust in much." That just makes me think that God gives us tests and gives us opportunities to steward little or X amount of money, and he watches what we do, right? And so he wants to see if we are faithful. His nature is faithfulness. So he wants to know, as his children, do we have that nature? Have we learned how to curb excess spending? Have we learned how to be wise in our choices and our decision making financially? And so that right there is a reminder that if you are able to properly steward your salary at this point, then God can triple that and multiply tenfold. But he wants to see, how are you spending? How are you saving? How are you appropriating the right funds for certain projects? How are you giving things away? How are you tithing? So it's all, I believe, something he cares about deeply. And another thing I think about, again, is back to wisdom, right? If you remember, King Solomon asked God for wisdom, and I believe that was in a dream, and he asked God for wisdom. But what I thought was so fascinating, he prayed for wisdom to rule over the people as king. And I think what God said to him was, "He has asked for this, and not for long life or wealth for yourself, nor have you asked for the death of your enemies, but for discernment in administering justice. I will do what you have asked. I will give you a wise and discerning heart, so that there will never have been anyone like you, nor will there ever be. Moreover, I will give you what you have not asked for, both wealth and honor, so that in your lifetime you have no equal among kings. I mean, what a blessing. I think being wise in finances and being wise all around is very important and will help to be a better steward of your finances. So those are some things that I've learned from the Bible. Have any lessons you can share in terms of Bible verses that's really helped you grow in this area of stewarding your finances?
Yes, absolutely. I can think of 2 Bible verses that really resonate with me when it comes to finances. The first one is Psalm 24, verse 1. It says, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. So this just lets me know, sort of like a bird's eye view, like everything I have, my degrees, my salary, and like everything that I have, even my contacts, my family, like all comes from God. Also tied to that is Proverbs 3, 9-10, which says, honor the Lord with your wealth, with your first fruits and all your crops. So really talking about giving back to God what belongs to God. And I have to say, when I tithe, I've been so blessed, and it's just like God just shows up in a way that I least expect. So like my finances are just blessed and I'm on the right path. And I've noticed that also, or if I can be candid here, when I have not been tithing, I just feel like, oh, I don't have enough. But somehow when I do tithe, especially when I was, earlier in my career, when I just felt like I don't have enough, somehow when I did tithe, God provided more than enough. Like he stretched out everything. I was just amazed. So I would definitely encourage everyone tithe. And I feel like in my experience, it protects my finances from being attacked when I do tithe. And for me, it's an acknowledgement that, hey, again, back to that Psalm, everything that I have belongs to God and comes from God. So a way of like me tithing is showing that appreciation and honor to God and giving him what he has asked me to give him. Let's just watch God move in your life and in your finances. I've seen it in my own life, and I would definitely encourage everyone to tithe.
I agree. And I was just thinking, sometimes you can start small. He looks at your heart. So if your heart is 5% or 1%, you can start there and talk to God and say, this is what I can afford right now. He will meet you where you are, but he sees your heart that you want to give more, but based on your situation, maybe you can only give 2%. You've not right out the 10% yet. Or maybe you're not giving to a local church like most people do. Maybe you're giving to an orphanage, or you just go on the street and hand out money on the street. Like all of those things are considered tithing. And so I would say you make it personal to you. Talk to God, him, to give you an answer, give you a sign, so you can ask these things. He's your father. So don't be afraid to say, I don't think I can tithe this month. This is what I have. And, talk to him about it, and he will give you a response. And again, it's about your heart posture, and it's not really about doing things so other people know, hey, I tithe this month. It's not about others. It's about you and God and what you are able to do. And he will reward your obedience, he will reward your faithfulness and your honesty.